How do you feel about the Fannie Willis, the new DA that's cracking down on Fulton County?
That's
Shout out to
crazy.
Fannie.
I was just talking. I just brought her name up on my live. Fannie Willis, man. Like I say, bro. Before I answer that, I'm gonna just say, I love my city. Born and raised here. Um, some of the best times in my life, and anybody else who's born and raised in Atlanta can tell you the same thing. You can go all over the world, man, all over the country, man, and you're still gonna want to come back home, man. Ain't nothing like Atlanta. It's the energy that we hold. It's been a beautiful place, but it's a few things that came about to really knock us off our shit. You know, we always had gangsters here, but they were grown men gangsters. You know what I mean? That's like the late '70s, early '80s. We had a black mafia here, but these were grown men who wore suits every day. They had clubs around up and down the city, Mr. V's and a lot of clubs. So
Right.
when any type of shooting of anything happened with the mobsters or with their organizations, it's because somebody crossed somebody. It was about some bad business. So, but it was very rare that you really heard that, and that stuff wasn't really making the news because it was really street grown man business. To where if nobody ain't talking, all they know is they just found a body. They don't know what to put to it, so it ain't even nothing to really report. So Atlanta always had that, but it was more on the underground and more with, like I say, grown men, gangsters, more like mob life.
Right.
So, boom. So we've been a party city, staying open. The clubs used to close at 8 to 9 in the morning, bro.
Damn.
So yes, and that stopped. You know, I mean, that had been going for like 20, 30 years, maybe more. Talking about you go to a strip club, you might go eat somewhere, then go to 112, and after you come out of 112, at 3, 4 in the morning, you go to this other spot that don't close till 9 in the morning. So you went out Saturday night, but you coming home in church traffic.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
And that's how Atlanta was. And everybody knew that. That's why during the Freak Lick time, like that, you know, when all that shit was popping off, like Atlanta was that city. It was a real party city. It wasn't too much violence popping off. You know what I mean? If it was about some bad business. It wasn't nobody just murdering just to be murdering. It was about bad business. Whether it was illegal or legal business. Niggas had to handle their business.
Right.
So where we are now, with the influence of the music, and a lot of people don't want to agree with it. And I've created songs with some violence in it. You know what I mean? To this day, T.I. don't really like performing You Don't Know Me. That's a violent record. You know, it was nominated for a Grammy. That was our first Grammy nomination. But Tip don't hardly like performing that record because it's memories around that shit. You know what I mean? And that record aligns with some of the worst times in people's lives, man. You know, some things that he said in that record. So it's a lot of energy that come with that. But now, 90% of everything is being driven by violence, drugs, and disrespecting women. So it's a whole nother generation out here now who feel like, hey, in order for me to be a rapper, to get a record deal or to get on the radio, I got to make a song based around one of these three subjects, either sex, drugs, or killing somebody. So that's how now you got a whole new generation of kids who feel like that's what it takes to get noticed or signed or to get your song on the radio. If you ain't talking about killing your ops, nigga, you ain't finna get no rotation on our station.
Right.
Which is
drill music.
Drill music, a lot of that. And I love the beats. But when I hear the subject matter, it's like, what's the song? Spot 'em, got 'em. Yeah. Remember that? What's the dude? Beatbox. When my little brother explained to me what he was talking about, man, that was my worst song. I was liking the beat. Mm-hmm. But when he told me the whole beatbox thing was about a nigga trying to stay alive because he choking from blood. And he said he going, he said it make he basically somebody dying and choking off blood and dying, basically dying is from a gunshot. Yeah. He turned that into a song saying beatbox. So look, I got him beatboxing. So shit is crazy. So it's sick. Yeah. So that's where we are now. So when you got, I mean, our city is going through a lot, man. Like straight up. even when Meech never here, right? BMF. Shout out to Big Meech. The Meech is from North. Solid dude. I remember Meech when he first started coming down here, dude. And he used to just be Meech and maybe like 3, 4 other grown men. All of them used to be wearing black. We used to be at the old 112, which is right across the street. It wasn't no BMF. It was just like, hey man, that's the Detroit crew. Another side of 112, that's the New York niggas. Boom, there go Danny Boy and the West Side niggas down there. You got Charles Black over here, and you know the entertainers be over here. You know it was a certain part where you knew who was who.
Right.
So everybody knew that everybody was getting down, getting money. You know what I mean? But there was no homicides and nothing. Everybody was just getting money on player shit. So when the whole BMF thing came about, that's when Meech decided to really get into the entertainment world and fuck around a little bit, which he's definitely was kind of against that at one point. But when that brand came about and so many people started coming into it, then you got a guy like Blue Da Vinci. Shout out to Blue, but he was on DVD saying, hey man, this is the biggest gang in the world. That wasn't don't call BMF the biggest gang in the world. You should have just said this is the biggest record label in the world.
Right.
So
there you go.
So when he said that, boom, you got these DVDs out here to, smack, the different DVDs, smacking all them, showing the whole BMF, which it could have been a record label at one point. But the minute that the murders started happening and the homicides, it wasn't Meech and it wasn't none of the top dogs. It was just some of the lower cats who was around him, who was responsible for some bad things. You got it was a murder behind the Velvet Room. I think they say my man out of Techwood from New York, they say he was responsible for that. Ill. Shout out to Ill, that's my dude. Allegedly he did that. But then at Justin's, I think Bobby Brown's nephew got stabbed up, and they say that was BMF. And then boom, you got the thing that happened right here down the street with Riz and Wolf. Wolf was Puffy's former security.
Yes.
When he came out, he came at Meech, and which they basically had to handle their business. So you got that. So that's when the homicide started being attached to that BMF brand, that's what made them super hot down here. They even had to just move down to Miami. That's why we start seeing footage. They was mostly hanging out in Miami because it got to the point where Atlanta, we didn't have no problem with them making it rain in the club or whatnot. And like I say, Meech didn't have nothing to do with none of this shit. But, I mean, of course, the shooting, because they were shooting at him. But the minute that the murder shit started being attached to that brand, that's when Atlanta was like, all right, let's start paying attention to more things around here. And now, boom. So we talking about 2004 and 5.
Right.
So now that we got these film companies here, all these tech companies coming here, bro, you got Microsoft and all this big shit popping around here, and you got these young dudes around here causing all this havoc and this gang life and these three abbreviation name groups. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but what they were doing to survive. I don't know if they were just buying guns for the fun of it. I don't know if they were moving weight. I don't know what these organizations was doing. I don't think all of them were trying to be rappers.
Right.
But all I know is, come on, man, we had what? We done went through 2 police chiefs in 7 years, maybe. Yeah, it was a female before Rodney Bryant, and she didn't last but so long. So I think she came out of Louisiana. No, before her. Shit, I'll say in 10 years, we may have went through three or 4 police chiefs.
Why is that?
Because this shit it'll become a headache, bro. As a police chief, and you getting calls from all these murders, and you can't pinpoint shit, especially if you're not from here, man, that shit will drive you crazy.
Yeah, I could dig that. Yeah, I can see that.
And they couldn't take but so much, so they had to go get work somewhere else. So, yeah, it's real. So now that we got new police chief, we got Fanny, and now like Atlanta got too much bread, bro, circulating through here. So we gonna hire the best of the best to come clean this shit up.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Fanny.
I love her.
I like her too.
And you know and not to call any human being garbage or trash, but this shit it got dirty, man. It just need to be cleaned up, bro. I mean, shit, we trying to raise kids. I used to like walking around the neighborhood, at night.
Right.
People like exercising when the sun go down. Now, man, you go jogging and feel like a motherfucker just might shoot you just for being out.
Right.
To get some points, to be
part of the game.
Yeah, the part of it. You know what I mean? That's the way we gonna enter. You gonna have to get you a body. If you don't catch you a body tonight, you ain't a part of us.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you got to put in work. You got to put in work.
And same thing. And you remember a few years ago when the GDs were here, and when I think they had allegedly shook Rick Ross down for some money. They was getting on him real bad about the whole thing with Larry Hoover and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, they got them dudes out of there. They rounded up that whole crew. I won't say all the GDs, but they rounded up some of the main ones. So Atlanta ain't gonna. I said he never really took too much into that gang shit, man. So when it's something gang affiliated, man, I said he just don't go for that type shit, man. But for so long, and I hate that because at one point we was thinking when all these murders were happening, straight up dog, we was feeling like, damn, it's got to be some out of like straight up. Everybody on here tell you we was blaming that shit on out of towners. That's why we start seeing T-shirts, man. We full, Atlanta full, because we were really blaming a lot of this bullshit on out of town people moving here. So it broke my fucking heart to find out that a lot of this shit was by motherfuckers who grew up from here.
That's right. That's right.
Fuck me up. Everybody was thinking, oh man, that's them New Orleans niggas. After Katrina, all this. No, you can't blame it on the New Orleans guys. Not now.
New York too, we got the blame too.
Yeah, you got New York niggas coming down. They said New York niggas. Yeah, so it was blaming it on everybody except because we just didn't think that a native Atlanta person would be down here committing these type acts.
Right.
And so now that we see and who's responsible for a lot of this stuff, yeah, it's heart-wrenching, man. And we talking about cats who really could have been the new labels that we were talking about.
Yeah.
YFN, that could have been a new label.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could have been.
YSL could have been a new label. And, you got to think, shit. Everybody who Gucci signed is in jail. So Gucci
would be that label.
Gucci was about to be the next guy, but everybody he signed. So once again, as executives, as top tier rappers, we got to stop letting these kids think that they got to have a criminal record to be signed to your label.
Right.
Man, all of Gucci's artists are gone, bro. All of them are in jail.
That's crazy.
Yeah, see,
no wonder.
But Gucci, luckily that he had cleaned up his act before he came home. I mean, the boy came home shining like new money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Chopped up and everything. Got him a fresh wife, new baby. But if Gucci was still on that shit, he would have been one of the first ones they would have rounded up because he had a label full of gangsters, of street cats. You know what I mean? And they would have eventually been running around with their brand. And the minute that a real bag would have got into their hands, they would have bought more weapons.
Right.
That's what they would have done. They would have just bought the jewelry with an ice box. We're going to buy some shoes. We're going to buy some clothes. Guess what? We're going to buy some more weapons. And that's where it at. That's where it is. And what's really bad is, like I say, man, if those guys are not found guilty, please let them come home. But authorities, what they tripping off of is, hey, man, we're finding these kids with guns that cost like $5,000 to $8,000. But these guys can't even bail themselves out of jail. So who is funding this shit? Who are paying for these weapons? Silencers. Whoa, what kind of connect you got to do that? And to put a switch on it? What? That takes money. And the guys who they're arresting don't have any of that type of money laying around. So once they see who those guys are affiliated with, they figure like, okay, Gunner, and y'all getting 200, maybe 300 a night, and y'all running around here with the diamonds on, and y'all running with these dudes. So when they go to Thug's crib down the street, man, they find all kind of weapons in there. So even if they don't have Thug on the homicides, just the weapons that they found got him in hot water. Yeah, it was silencers in that house, bro, and guns with switches. They allegedly are his. We're not sure, but so we just talking about.
And then you don't know when the ballistics check on them guns, if they come back to any bodies and woo, nigga.
So it's so much, man. That's why you can't do nothing but really, man. Just honestly, watch it. But man, handle your own business. Don't even get caught up into it unless you signed to them or he's your relative or whatever. Just watch the headlines, read it, but don't get so caught up into it and getting shirts pressed up, talking about free my man, free my nigga. That ain't necessary, man. Because those guys are really in trouble, man. And now that she's saying
2 more?
it's about to be 2 more high-profile
RICO
cases. I don't know. All I can say, y'all, I'm glad it's not me.
Right.
Glad it's not you. Right. I'm glad it's not nobody who I love.
We glad it's not y'all.
Yeah. I hope it's not anybody out here, but